In New Brunswick, there's an uneasy calm the day after that violent confrontation between the RCMP and people protesting shale gas development. The demonstrators, many from the Elsipogtog First Nation, accuse the Mounties of siding with the New Brunswick government and an oil and gas company and say the future of their land and their water supply hangs in the balance. Our Ross Lord is near Rexton, New Brunswick, again for us tonight. Ross?
Well, Donna, 24 hours has made a difference for the better, but you can still see remnants of that battle. They're still here, and there are signs that this dispute is still far from over. The sense of conflict has eased since yesterday's clashes that thrust Rexton, New Brunswick to the forefront of the fracking controversy. But the charred hulks of 6 RCMP vehicles set alight at the height of the melee are a stark reminder. What do you think when you just come up here and see this?
That didn't need to be done.
Other opponents of fracking say the destruction is justified.
They didn't do enough of it to the cops, because the cops destroyed their camp. They scared kids. They didn't have to do that. The cops were being bullies, and we just stopped. The natives just turned around and showed the cops they're not being bullied around.
The RCMP says its members were only enforcing a court injunction, allowing Swin Resources access to company trucks and equipment. The Mounties seized a collection of knives, guns, and explosives, some containing potentially lethal shrapnel, to illustrate why they've charged 40 protesters.
Peaceful protest is one thing, but when the situation deteriorates to a point where it is no longer safe, I, as a commanding officer, have no choice but to react.
The RCMP says there was an attempt overnight to burn the Elsipogtog RCMP office. Still, there's a groundswell of support for the protest. These demonstrators accuse New Brunswick Premier David Alward of siding with Swin Resources. And similar protests have been held in several other Canadian communities, disrupting traffic and, in some cases, temporarily blocking highways.
It's illegal for them to come in like us. They're violating our Indigenous rights, and they're not respecting the open communication that we had.
The federal government is now calling for a peaceful resolution, and the RCMP confirms it met last night with Elsipogtog Chief Aaron Sock. As for Swin Resources, the company says it's done nothing wrong, conducting itself in accordance with a license to explore granted by the province and within the law. So a lot of wrangling going on, including a judge's decision this coming Monday. The judge will decide whether to extend an injunction that is aimed at limiting the protests. There's also a meeting on that started late today between Premier David Aylward and the band chief, Aaron Sock. And it seems that the longer this goes on, the more people are saying we want a peaceful solution, but no one seems to know how they'll get there. Donna?
All right, Ross Lord near Rexton, New Brunswick, thank you.